What is going on, everybody? I am back with a fantastic review for Fantastic Four: The First Steps. Saw it twice this week. Got my initial thoughts yesterday. Wanted to sit and rejoice on it. Um, it is a very, very fantastic film. It actually exceeded all my expectations. A little downside on a couple characters, but nothing that kills the movie as most movies have been done that Marvel has done. So compared to Thunderbolts, which was also a good movie, this one has a lighter tone because it is Fantastic Four. But the difference about this version of Fantastic Four is the family dynamic, something that hasn't been seen in the live action much. It mostly focused on Sue and Reed, which this one kind of does, but the way the actors portray them as a family. We'll get into that here in a second. Overall, fantastic. I'm gonna be saying fantastic a lot because, again, it's the Fantastic Four. Why wouldn't we want to say fantastic? So let's delve deep into this one. Pedro as Mr. Fantastic exceeded my expectations as Reed Richards. He actually plays a um, very well made Reed Richards because Reed is awkward. Reed is a very unique guy that has a lot of like more um awkwardness to him. He doesn't get social cues. He's more science based. He's not feelings based. His feelings for Sue will never change. So he loves her with all of his heart. He will do anything for that woman, which for who they picked as Sue Storm had me blown away. Vanessa Kirby, ugh, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss as Sue Storm. Portrayed being a mother, portrayed being someone who would risk their life for that kid. Because it does delve deep into the kid aspect of being a family. Because she does have a kid in the movie. Just her being a mother to Johnny, to Ben, to being, telling Reed, hey, she keeps him grounded. She pretty much brings that heart that he has, but he hides it because he's scared of everything. He's scared of the unknown. He's scared of, what can't be controlled. He is a man that is the smartest man in the universe, but will break down when stuff gets rough. But he will overcome that, which Reed does. He does very well and does his best to protect his family. Yes, does it result in many bad occurrences? Of course, it's Reed. He tries to use mathematics, and this one does too. Two of the best characters in the movie. Johnny, played by Joseph Quinn, really did shock me as Johnny. He wasn't the arrogant, um, kind of like how I wouldn't say like Chris Evans's Human Torch was. Chris Evans's Human Torch is, of course, a ladies' man. All Johnny Storms are ladies' men. They just care about their images. They just care about doing, you know, their own stunts. Doing something that is against what Reed and Sue want. So for them to portray Johnny still that way, being a little rambunctious, wants to get back into the field, wants to do everything, it was there. The ladies' man part was kind of killed off a little bit, which I'm not mad at. The one thing that stepped him up was him actually being smart. What, of course, why Reed, Sue, and Ben would take a smart guy and be on their team. He's not some stupid idiot. He doesn't make dumb choices. He is a man that will do his very best to get what he wants too. And that was to understand stuff throughout the movie. Ben, he was kind of sidelined. I'm kind of sad. He kind of was like the forced character that was like, okay, you're just gonna do whatever we want. You'll punch. You'll just be there. That's kind of sad to see for the thing. I hope in future adaptations, even in the next Avengers movie, he does step up and become a good character, which I have faith in because I have a feeling this movie's going to do well. It's going to project more and it's going to show that these characters were handled with love because Stan Lee and Jack Kirby took a lot of, you know, we want these characters to feel like a family, even with their superpowers, even before their superpowers, they were trying to do their best to um be a family together and create a family dynamic that, yes, of course, has problems because they are up against the most toughest beings in the universes, going from Galactus to Doctor Doom to a lot of their main level threats are people that are freaking gods. Now to the villains, Silver Surfer and Galactus. I really, really wish they had more screen time. But you feel Galactus's presence. The minute the Fantastic Four go to him and, they have to beg for, mercy from Galactus, it is a threat. You feel Galactus is like, no, you're not going to get out of this unless Sue gives me her son. And Sue right away was like, no, you're not getting my son, Galactus. He kind of makes it a point to say, I don't care what you say. I want that kid. And he makes it his goal that he wants that kid. But the person they had as Galactus, a very great voice actor who brought that presence, who brought, his voice that deepens and makes you fear Galactus. That's what I've been dying for since Galactus was announced. I was very hesitant on him. I saw the suit design and I was like, okay, I'm still with it. I just got to hear his voice as Galactus. I want to understand Galactus. That is a presence. That is a villain. That is what we need back in the MCU. Is the villains. Silver Surfer, the minute she comes down, her voice might be soothing, might be calm, might be very, I'm here to give you a warning, but you need to be ready for this threat that's coming. Johnny going after her and seeing, oh God, she means business. And he, wants to understand her language so he understands what she is from. That dynamic was good. Johnny and the Silver Surfer was a good dynamic they brought. The actress, Julia, I don't remember her last name. She is a very well known actress, but her presence as the Silver Surfer, the aura she had through her surfer scenes, her gliding through space, her coming after the Fantastic Four, chef's kiss. This movie had a lot of beautiful scenes. Beautiful from the space to the ships to you know, the, using their abilities. It was beautiful. Marvel, what are we doing? We're slacking. This is what we've been dying for since Avengers Endgame. Spider-Man No Way Home had some good scenes. Eternals had beautiful scenes. Shang-Chi, I'm not even gonna reluctantly say, Shang-Chi had beautiful scenes. We missing Marvel. Take care of your projects, and we would go to see them. You knew what was riding on this, and they made Reed perfect. They made Sue amazing. Ben and Johnny so good. What are we doing? You're slacking so much at these characters that have been around for years. The 60s dynamic, the theme looked beautiful. A futuristic 60s? Shoot, give me that universe again. Their suits looked so good, even for the time. A sweater? Who would honestly think a turtleneck sweater on a superhero would look good on the big screen? In IMAX, no less. I saw it twice in IMAX, and I was just stunned by how everyone looked. Even if Galactus didn't have a lot of color to him, that man I would just give my entire planet up for him. I would say, you know what? Take my planet. I don't even want it anymore. That's how good this movie was. There was a couple CGI shots, you know, again, I don't know why most movies have trouble making baby CGI, but I'm not gonna get into that because that just takes away from everything. Yeah, there were some choices that some characters made that I'm just like, why? Why did you make that choice? But it never took away from what this movie was about, the family aspect. When they came back and told the Earth, hey, he wants our kid, they were instantly like, well, give up your kid. No, they weren't going to do that. Reed was considering it because it was a logical decision. We could spare the Earth. That's about our only option. We have our last resort option. Sue was like, no, we're not. And you can feel that mother presence of her saying, you give up our kid is the end of me, you, and this family because there's nothing. And Reed knows he messes up if he pisses off Sue, which he does. He kind of makes her mad a couple times, but there's a couple times he comes back to her and she's just like, you know what? You are my family and I need you guys. But her speech to um, the humans telling them, hey, I'm not going to sacrifice my kid for this earth. but I'm not gonna sacrifice the earth for my kid. I got chills. I was ready to fight with them. I was about to be like, you know what? Give me a suit. I'll go with y'all. I'll take on Galactus. Because that is a woman who knows how to be a leader in a way. Reed is still the leader of the Fantastic Four, but Sue is that heart, the the ground for these people that gives them the human side of everything. Of course, Ben being the Rock, he's gonna think he's not adequate. Sue would probably be right there saying, "Hey, you're beautiful in everyone's eyes." I'm pretty sure Sue even tells Johnny stuff. This is the family dynamic I've been dying for years from this movie, and it was it was so beautiful. Any of the scenes I cried. Franklin, adding Franklin to this universe, I was a little skeptical on it because I'm like, "Dang, you're really rushing into it." But it makes you feel throughout the entire movie that these people have done this for years. Reed's been a scientist for years. He's had his powers for I think 4 or 5 years. Sue, the same way. Her becoming kind of a leader for, America, helping them, you know, reach different, political views that keeps them together from having these horrible wars, keeps Mole Man in check because he runs the underground. He's attacked the surface world for so long. Reed is sick of him. Johnny, I know, is sick of him, and so is the Thing. But Sue, she makes sure she's like, hey, knock it off. Leave them alone. You and me, we're gonna do it. Perfect execution. Franklin as a kid, the most if you don't read comics, I'm going to give you a brief summary. This kid can make universes as a child. This kid created a universe while in his sleep. This is how powerful Franklin is. No spoilers from me on this one. I want everyone to go see it, but you have to see how Franklin uses his powers. The end credit scene, mid credit scene, leads strictly to Avengers Doomsday. So that is a dynamic we are going to see for Franklin and why he is such an important factor going forward because he is a very powerful character. As a kid, Reed is scared of him. Doctor Doom is wanting to understand him, and Galactus wanted his power. Even though, if anybody knows this, in a comic, Galactus was under Franklin Richards. This movie was amazing. There was some crucial points where I was like, it doesn't kind of make sense. But Marvel, this is your best. This is the best I've seen in a long time. Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four have been faction movies. If we go back to that formula, we could have Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars being great. Spider Man, Brand New Day will be taken care of because that is Stan Lee's child. Jack Kirby would be proud of Fantastic Four, the first steps. If you are going to go see it in IMAX. It is a perfect movie to go sit and take your family to understand that family dynamic of what Sue, Reed, Johnny, and Ben bring to the table. 9 out of 10. Go see it. It is a perfect movie for the summer. Take your family, take your grandparents, take everyone to go see this movie. This movie is amazing. Fantastic. Mm, I have no more words. The review is a perfect 9 out of 10 for me. Go see it. I will catch you guys in the later review. I have so many movies on standby ready for reviews to be made throughout 2025 and 2026. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.